view because it's just like, the meatball, the classic.
Yeah.
Going to the classic spot, and that's where all of it started. That's where all that inspiration came, even though I was an antenna engineer not seeing it. But besides that, that's
จรว
history.
ด
And
จร
hopefully
วด
maybe it wouldn't have to be one or the other.
ยานอ
That's
ว
true.
กาศ
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're going to learn more from going where we've never been before. And
Exactly.
so we need to go to the South
ครั้ง
Pole
แรกใน
too.
รอบ9 ปี
And we are thrilled to see all of you following along online.
So,
Thank you for answering
okay.
our poll. And we're going to go over to Tahira, who's been monitoring all the action with less than 25 minutes to go.
ครั้งแรก
Tahira,
ของ
I'm sure things are heating
ใน
up
รอบ 9 ปี
online.
ของอเมริกาปล่อยนักบินอวกาศจาก
Hey, Marie, I mean, you're completely right. Now that we have that go for launch, people are on the edge of their seat right now, waiting on this historic moment to take flight. As you can see, photos are still coming in of just everyone around the country showing their excitement for this launch. And it's really been a touching thing to see how everyone's kept this excitement going from Wednesday's first attempt. So we just took a look at numbers, and we are now over 3 million people
ก็
tuning
มา
in
ดู
for this
เล่นๆสำ
historic
หรับคน
launch.
ที่ยัง
And so for me personally, I just want to wish Bob and Doug the best of luck. This will be my own first time watching humans lift off to space from the United States, and it's just going to be a super emotional moment.
แต่
For
ไม่
that,
รู้ว่า
Marie,
วั
back
น
to
นี้
you
อา
at
กาศจะ
Kennedy
เป็น
for
ใจ
these
หรือเปล่า
last minutes before launch.
ครั้งที่แล้วเนี่ย
All
อากาศ
right.
ไม่
Thanks,
เป็นใจ
Tahira. And Leland, we got 23 minutes and some change to go. What do you think Bob and Doug are feeling right now?
I think, they're very calm, cool, and collected as test pilots, but I think they're thinking about what are the steps that I have to take if a malfunction or something happens. So the nominal stuff is all kind of automated, but if something happens where they have to intervene with those touch
สำ
screens,
หรับคน
that's what
ที่
they're thinking.
ยังไม่อยากนอน
And we're just inside 23 minutes now. So on Wednesday, we were 5 minutes further in the countdown when we heard that call to scrub, and the weather was still very touch and go at this point on Wednesday. But today, it at least for right now, I don't want to jinx it. I'm afraid to even say it out loud, but it looks better today.
Yeah, and it feels like I'm feeling it a lot
feels
more than
right.
I
Yeah.
did
It
on
feels
Wednesday.
right.
And speaking of Bob and Doug and them being really calm and cool and collected, haven't had the opportunity to be in meetings with them and to watch them train. I have to say, and to all of my friends who work with them every single day, the feedback is always just what great people they are,
Right.
and just how not just bright and sharp they are, but just good people.
Right.
And around the office, we often refer to them as the dads.
The
And
dads? What
they're
is
the
that?
dads. They're dads. They are dads,
Okay.
and we've met their families. And when you see people on that very personal level, it starts to mean so much. They
Right.
are a part of our team. They're not a customer. They're our team. They're not a payload. They're our
Right.
team. They're our
Yeah.
family. And so we're just so excited to see the dads up there today.
Yeah. Go
And-
Dads!
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go send it over to Gary for an update from Houston. Gary?
Hey Marie, the space station team here is focused. All eyes are on the system checks that are happening across the board, and we're listening in as we close in on launch, and I can tell you that things are looking very good. Chris Cassidy will be watching from the International Space Station, right now flying over the Pacific Ocean. It's heading to cross right over the launch pad. We might even get some good views from the station. Hope to be capturing those. We'll have the launch view on the big screen up front, and everyone's excited to see our two crew members on their way to the International Space Station. But before we get to it, I just want to pass on good luck from the entire flight operations community here in Houston. It's always exciting to be doing something wholly new and history-making with station operations. SpaceX. Can't wait to see our team members Bob and Doug in low Earth orbit and heading to the International Space Station. That's it from us here in Mission Control Houston. I'll send it back over to the team in Hawthorne for the latest happening there. John.
T-minus 20 minutes, 30 seconds. We're
Strong back
continuing
tail
to
started.
count down. Everything is
20
still
นา
looking
ที
good
ฮะ
for launch of
ดู
Falcon
เวลา
9
ต
and
รงหน้าจอ
Dragon.
ได้
22 minutes, 45
Yeah.
seconds after the hour.
Stage
Right
2,
now on the
RP1
right-hand
loading.
Yeah.
side, you can see a large white cloud coming
Yep.
off of the strongback. That
นับ
is
ถอยหลัง
normal.
เลย
As we get ready to load the second stage
And
with
this is
liquid
วลานับถอย
oxygen,
หลัง
we have to chill in the
21
plumbing
นาที
lines going up that strongback.
รอ
And
ดู
so
กั
as
น
we
ว่า
relieve
วันนี้จะได้
pressure,
บิน
the
ไหม
moist, humid Florida air condenses around it, and that gives you the cloud. So that tells us that things
ดู
are
ว่ารอบ
actually
นี้จะ
on
ได้ขึ้น
schedule.
สู่
We
วง
did
โค
begin
จรหรือ
propellant
เปล่า
load at T-minus 35 minutes. Fuel loading on the second
9
stage, I
นาที
believe we just heard the call out that it is complete. First stage fuel load is continuing, and right now that's a little more than, that's about 60% of the way full. So things are looking good. Second stage is getting ready to begin the liquid oxygen loading. After they finish chilling in the lines that you see on the monitor, they'll begin the load at T-minus 16 minutes and 30 seconds.
อันนี้กำลัง
The range
เติม
right now is go, ready to support.
เติม
Weather
liquid oxygen
continues to be
เข้า
go.
แท้งอยู่
As we inch our way closer, we're keeping our fingers crossed. We're waiting to hear if anybody calls out an issue, but for the moment, as you can see on the screen, it looks good. Now, on the Dragon side, the Dragon mission director and the team there are reporting no issues. They've done their communications checkouts. The crew access arm, as you can see, is retracted away from the spacecraft. The crew is strapped in and they are ready to go. Now, final instructions will be going to the crew at T-minus 10 minutes. The crew displays will be configured for
18
launch,
นาที
and that setup will give astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley insight into how the launch is proceeding and provides constant updates on vehicle health. We've already heard the crew give their go, close their visors, and get ready for launch. For Dragon, it'll enter terminal count at T-minus 5 minutes. When it transitions to internal power, we'll hear continued callouts on the countdown net as we get close to zero and to liftoff. But right now, at T-minus 18 minutes, 15 seconds, everything continues to be go for an on-time launch. So Dan, Jesse, things are looking pretty good. How are they doing over at your stand?
Things are great from about 15 feet away from you, John I, and honestly, things are looking pretty great down at the pad there. We're seeing a lot more blue in the sky. Green is the color we want when we're talking about weather, and that's where we're sitting right now. So we're continuing to count down. We are under 18 minutes away from liftoff. Again, it's an instantaneous liftoff at it's going to be 12:22 and 45 seconds here on the West Coast, 3:22 and 45 seconds over on the East Coast there in Florida. Just a reminder, it's going to be about a 9-minute ride up to orbit for the Falcon 9 and Bob and Doug on board Dragon. It'll be a 2-stage flight. So we'll see the first stage fly until we hear MECO, or main engine cutoff, about 2.5 minutes into flight. After that, the second stage will take over and continue to power them the rest of the way. Second engine cutoff comes in just under 9 minutes at about 8 minutes and 44 seconds. Following that second stage completing its job, it'll continue to coast for about 3 minutes. It'll do a slight attitude adjustment and null out any rates, so make sure it's not in any kind of a spin before they do separation. So that's when the Dragon spacecraft will physically separate from the Falcon 9 vehicle and Bob and Doug will be flying free. It's about a 19-hour ride if we launch today on time. So that means Bob and Doug will get on orbit. They'll have a number of burns or those firings of those Draco thrusters that they'll do over
Stage 2 LOX load started.
We hear the LOX, the liquid oxygen load has now started on stage 2. But again, they're going to be doing a series of burns on the way uphill towards the International Space Station 5, spread out over the first 16 hours or so of their flight until they get much closer and it's time for that approach and docking. And we are expecting that with an on-time launch to happen today. That'll be coming tomorrow in the afternoon.
Here, if anybody...
All right, now that we're under 16 minutes away, we have a special guest joining us. I'm going to toss it over to Jesse.
15 minutes.
We are T-minus 15 minutes and 45 seconds from liftoff of our second demonstration mission today, and we have the honor of having SpaceX's President and COO, Gwen Shotwell, join us. Thanks, Gwen, for coming out and taking a few minutes to chat with us.
Thanks, Jesse.
We know you've been on console. How's the countdown been going so far in there?
Countdown is clean today, just like it was Wednesday. We did clear the weather hurdles sooner than we did on Wednesday. And the only thing we're watching right now is downrange weather and lightning at the staging location.
Of course.
But we will clear that hurdle at T-minus 7 minutes.
Awesome. Great. Very exciting. Now I'm going to throw it back to 2012 because you were on console for Dragon when it was first making its way to the space station. How does that experience compare to today?
Stage 2 locks is on the DPs
So
and
I was nervous then. I stopped getting nervous for launches. Today I'm nervous again. Super nervous. Stomach and throat.
Understandable.
No, it's a fantastic day today. I'm really excited. The team is pulled together. It's such a professional operation. When I say team, by the way, I mean SpaceX and NASA. These folks have been working incredibly hard and have done a fantastic job.
Yes, and we are all so excited. And we know that you have to get back inside of Mission Control, but is there anything that you wanted to say before liftoff to NASA and SpaceX?
Well, I want to thank NASA, of course, for their generosity and their help with getting to this place. I want to thank all the SpaceXers who have come together to make this moment in history. And I want to thank Elon for hiring me.
We thank Elon for hiring you as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll let you get back to Mission Control. And good luck with launch today.
Thanks, Jesse. And Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
Well, we are so excited. We are just a few minutes away from countdown. So we are going to turn it over to Dan and John for the final minutes in terminal count. Take it away, John.
T-minus 13 minutes, 30 seconds, continuing to count down. We're continuing to load fuel onto the first stage. That should finish up in just about 6 minutes. Fuel is completely loaded on the second stage. That's closed out. And we are continuing to load liquid oxygen on both the first and second stage. The liquid oxygen load beginning on the second stage just about 3.5 minutes ago. We are also loading cryogenic helium into the storage vessels on the first and second stage, getting in the last little bits of helium when we keep it cryogenic, cold and liquefied. That gets us, just like we do with liquid oxygen, the maximum amount into the storage volume so that we can get the most performance out of the vehicle. Right now, we are in a fairly quiet state on the vehicle. Ground pumps continuing to put the propellant in to first and second stages. Next significant issue, callouts that we're going to hear will probably be inside the T-minus 10 minutes when they talk to the crew. We'll listen for that. But at the moment, everything continuing to look good at T-minus 12 minutes and 20 seconds.
รอบที่แล้วนี่แคนเซิลเลยเพราะว่าอากาศ
We're getting real close now, John. It's only a little over 12 minutes away. Just a reminder for everybody, it's about a 9-minute ride uphill. We'll have some dueling boxes going on as that first stage is going to be coming home while the second stage is carrying Bob and Doug into orbit. Obviously, we'll be keeping an eye on our astronauts the whole way uphill. Some of the calls that you'll be hearing, as there will be what we call performance calls over the Dragon to ground the entire way uphill, and you'll just hear some of the SpaceX engineers calling out trajectories and booster performance. So we're always looking for that word nominal. I know that's one of John's favorite words. That's one of mine too. We want to hear nominal as much as possible up on the way uphill. You might also hear some number and letter combinations, and those correspond to the different abort zones that Bob and Doug are in during their flight uphill. There's 1A and 1B, which signify that they're on the first stage. Those carry them from there in the Cape all the way up to about the very top of North Carolina. And then we'll have 2A through 2E or 2 Echo. And that will be on the second stage. And that goes from North Carolina all the way up to about the tip of Newfoundland. So in the northern Atlantic. And then there is a zone of the northern Atlantic that we're going to avoid. And so you should hear the call out be something similar to forward to Shannon. And that just refers to Shannon, Ireland, which they'll be going off the coast of Ireland at the later stages of the second stage if they have to abort. So just prepping you now for some of those calls. You're hopefully going to hear that word nominal a whole lot on the way uphill. 10.5 minutes. Things are pretty quiet. As John I said, it'll pick up right at about 10 minutes. We'll wait for the crew just to confirm that their displays are in order. The crew is already strapped in and reported that they are go for launch, and we'll continue to watch the fuel gauges tick up on the Falcon 9 vehicle until fueling cuts off at just about 2 minutes
prior to launch.
Dragon, SpaceX confirmed displays are configured for launch.
SpaceX Dragon displays are configured for launch.
Copy.
ท้องฟ้ายัง
Bob,
ส
Doug,
ดใสอยู่
on behalf of the entire SpaceX team, it's been a huge honor to help you get ready for today's historic mission. Know that we're with you. Have an amazing flight and enjoy those views of our
ฝน
beautiful
น่าจะห
planet.
ยุดแล้ว
Thanks, Jay. It is absolutely our honor to be part of this huge effort to get the United States back in the launch business. We'll talk to you from orbit. Thank you.
Copy all. Thanks for those words.
คือนักบินอว
SpaceX
กาศ
Core, so again,
เตรีย
that
มพร้อม
voice is
นะ
going to be talking to
สอง
Bob
คน
and
นะ
Doug
ส่งไป
throughout
สอ
their
งคน
mission
เที่ยวนี้
from right here in Hawthorne, just offering a
สอ
few
งคน
quick words. The crew did confirm their crew displays are configured for launch. We are coming up on 9 minutes and counting.
อีก9 นาที
We've gotten through T-minus 10 minute with the crew discussions. Activity is now going to switch over to Falcon 9. Our next major event comes at T-minus 7 minutes. We begin what we call engine chill. Pre-valves will open. Those currently separate propellants on the first stage from getting down to the Merlin engines. We'll open the pre-valves. That allowed fuel liquid oxygen to flow to the top of the pumps. And more importantly, when we open the valves, that allow us to begin chilling the 9 Merlin 1D turbo pumps on the first stage engine. It'll take a few minutes to get them cold enough to where they would then be ready to pass the large amounts of liquid oxygen through the pumps and into the main thrust chambers when we get to engine ignition at T-minus 2 seconds. We don't want to try to run highly chilled liquid oxygen through a warm pump. You would flash that into gas, and running gas through a high-speed pump is not a good thing. So right now, we are waiting for T-minus 7 minutes. That'll start the engine chill. Shortly after that, we will also get the fuel shutdown.
อันนี้จะจ่ายไอ้เชื้อเพลิงอ่ะนี่เติมกำลังเติมไอ้ออกซิเจนอยู่
Listening to the SpaceX launch director in the
นักบิน
background
อว
there.
กาศอยู่ตรงหั
As
ว
I
เลย
mentioned, at T-minus 7 minutes, as we start the
หัว
chill,
เล็ก
we will also get into the final topping off of stage 1 fuel, and then the fuel load will complete.
เที่ยวที่แล้วมันบินขึ้นไม่ได้ก็รู้สึกว่ามีท้องฟ้ามันจะเมฆมันไม่ท้องฟ้ามันไม่เปิดเรื่องท้องฟ้าไม่เปิดขึ้นบินไม่ได้
Stage 1 and Stage 2 engine chill has started.
We've heard the call out. Stage 1 engine chill has started. That's gone up to the crew so that they've got situational awareness. As I mentioned, the pre-valves are open. And now we are topping off first stage fuel, getting ready to finish the fuel load. Liquid oxygen load on first and second
Engine
stage
hydraulics at pressure.
will continue until the last 3 to 2 minutes of the countdown.
นี่ต้องเติมลิควิดออก
You
ซิ
should
เจน
hear that call out RP1 load complete coming up in about 6 minutes. Again, RP1 is just that densified kerosene or that rocket fuel that Falcon 9 is going to be used to power Bob and Doug to orbit today.
เติมไปจนช่วงใกล้ๆ
And
จะปล่อย
Stage 1 fuel is closed out.
Right on time. That call out indicates that the fuel loading on the first stage is complete. Draining back the lines now. So first stage and second stage fuel are complete. Liquid oxygen loading is continuing on both stages. You can see on the view on the left side of the monitor, the condensation, the cold gas wrapped around the stages as the tank skins are chilled by the densified liquid oxygen, picking up the humidity
Falcon
from
9
the
is in
Florida
top
air.
line.
อันนี้ทำให้มันเย็นนะแก๊สที่มันเป็นเหมือนหมอก
Looks like at this
ขาว
moment
ๆ
we're a little more than 90% full on the
ทำให้
oxidizer
จ
on
รวด
the
มัน
first
เย็น
stage, ticking up towards that
เป็น
80%
ลิ
mark
ควิดออก
on
ซิ
the
เจนที่เขา
second
เติมเข้าไป
stage. We'll be counting down all the way till about 2 or 3 minutes, as John and I just said, until everything is loaded in
Falcon 9
Falcon
heaters
9.
closing out.
เนี่ยลิควิดออก
And
ซิ
we
เจ
will
น
be
เนี่ย
go
ที่
for
มัน
launch.
เป็นหมอกๆเนี่ยเป็นควันๆออกมาเนี่ย
Dragon has transitioned to configure for
Oxygen
terminal
level.
count. Vehicle tanks pressing for strongback retract.
We're pressurizing the Falcon 9 tanks. We're going to open the clamp arm around the second stage and begin to retract the strongback.
กำลังจะเอาไอ้ตัวเชื่อมออก
We'll move back about 2 degrees. That'll get us to the liftoff position. At liftoff, the strongback will then recline about 45
Strongback
degrees
retract has
away.
started. Stage 2, RP1 bleed.
ปกติ
Launch director called out the strongback retract has started. On the left,
เที่ยวนี้ส่ง
you'll see it go back just a couple of degrees.
Stage 1, RP1 bleed.
ปกติส่งดาวเทียมขึ้นวงโคจรจรวดฟอลคอน9เนี่ยนี่เอามาส่งคนไปสถานีอว
We
กา
are
ศ
just 4 minutes away from liftoff. Again, at this moment, Bob and Doug are really just laser focused on those displays. They have insight directly into Dragon and the Falcon 9. They're able to see where their fuel loading is at, how everything's progressing down with
อัน
the
นี้ออก
count.
ซิเจนเหลวเนี่ยที่เป็น
AFTS
ควันออ
final
กมา
setup started.
พอโดนอากาศแล้วมันเลยกลายเป็นแก๊สตอนเติมมันเป็น
3.5
เป็นเหลว
minutes from
เป็น
launch.
ลิควิด
And the strongback is now reclining away from the Falcon 9.
ลดอุณหภูมิให้จรวดมันเย็นลงออกซิเจนเหลว
MVAC igniter
ชิ
purges.
ลเอาเนี่ยนักบินอวกาศอยู่บนเนี่ยป่วยเนี่ยอันนี้กระจกเนี่ย
Ogo
สอง
bleed.
ท่อนอันนี้เรียกว่าครูดากอนครับแคปซูล
Dragon has transitioned to terminal count and is
ตรง
on
นี้เรีย
internal
กจ
power.
รวดฟอลคอน9
Stage 1, LOX load close out.
Okay, we're at T minus 2 minutes, 42 seconds. Stage 1 LOX load is closed out. Stage 2 will continue to load for about another half a minute or so. Once we get the completion of stage 2 LOX loading, we have to vent down the line, so you'll see another large white cloud coming off of the strongback. That'll be normal. That'll happen
Vehicle
around
is transitioning
Căng
to
ra
internal
lọc
power.
cao
1 minute
thì-
and 40 seconds. We're going on
ที่
internal
ปล่อยจ
power
รวด
now.
จากประเทศอเมริกา
Just a few seconds away from the stage 2 LOX load being complete. It's been almost 9 years since we've been in this
ต้องไป
position.
ปล่อยอยู่รั
A
สเซี
lot
ย
of work done by thousands of people to get
ครั้
to
งแรก
this
ของอเมริ
point.
กาในรอบ9 ปี
All our eyes focused on 2 now.
Stage 2 LOX load is closed out. Propellant fills are complete.
10 นาทีก็ปล่อย
Dragon is in auto idle.
Stage 2 LOX load complete. All fuel, all oxidizer on Falcon 9. 1 minute, 34 seconds to go till launch.
Ground gas closeouts is starting.
นาทีนะ
Falcon 9 is in startup. Dragon is in countdown. FTS is armed for launch.
อันนี้
Under a minute now, the FTS, the flight termination system, has been armed.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
SpaceX Dragon, we're go for launch. Let's light this candle.
ขึ้นบน
T minus 30 seconds.
Stage 1 tanks pressing for flight.
T minus 15 seconds.
We're in the throttle bucket.
ลืมเอาลูกบังสปีดอันนี้
Reports
900 กิ
say
โล
all
เมตร
systems are go.
มีความเร็วกับ
Vehicle is
ความ
supersonic.
สูง
We've exceeded
1,000
Mach
กิ
1
โล
on
เม
the
ตรต่อชั่ว
Falcon
โมง
9.
ความสูง10 กิโลเมตรละไอ้นี่นาทีเดียวขึ้นไป
M1D throttle up.
ขึ้นไป10 กิโลเมตรขึ้นไป12 กิโลเมตรละ
We're throttling back up.
Nominal trajectory continuing.
แม็กคิวนี่คือ maximum dynamic pressure ส่วนมีโก้
And while they continue uphill, looks like we are getting a view of the first stage as well.
Yep, on your right
อันนี้
screen, you can
มัน
see
ลอยไป
that
ถึงตรง
first
นี้ละ
stage with the
มันเลย
grid
มาหมด
fins
ละ
deployed.
เลย
It's
แม็กคิว
making its
เลย
way
มี
back
โก้หม
to
ดละ
attempt to land on our drone ship. Of course, I still love you today. And we're just about a couple minutes away from the entry burn, and that's where 3 of the 9 Merlin engines do ignite to help slow the vehicle down as it re-enters back into the Earth's
อัน
atmosphere.
นี้
And
คือ
then
ตัวถัง
after
เชื้อเพลิง
the
มันนะ
entry burn will be the landing burn,
อัน
which
นี้คือ
is
ถังเชื้อ
just
เพลิง
a single
เดี๋ยวมันจะ
engine.
ล่อนลง
SpaceX
ลง
nominal
กลับมา
trajectory.
ตรงในตัวเรือโด
And
น
you heard
Nominal
Starting
trajectory.
chill for entry burn.
there's that call out. They are still on a nominal trajectory on Dragon, still on second stage, and that's that MVAC engine on
คือ
second
ตัว
stage on your
แคป
left
ซูล
screen.
ดากอนคูแคปซูลเนี่ยมันจะไปเชื่อมกับสถานี
Again,
อ
on
ว
your
กาศ
right
แต่ว่า
screen is that
ยัง
first
ไม่ได้
stage
เชื่อมตอนนี้
booster coming
มัน
back
จะต้องรอ
towards our drone ship. Of course, I
รอ
still
ปรับ
love
ระ
you.
ดับ
We're about
ระดับ
a minute away
ปรับระ
from
ดับก่อน
entry burn.
ส่วนในตัวหางเนี่ย ตัวถังเชื้อเพลิงเนี่ยเดี๋ยวมัน
Meanwhile,
จะลง
that
จอด
second stage
บน
continuing
เรือ
to power Dragon into orbit.
เรือที่มันเป็น
And if
เรื
you
อ
keep
บัง
an eye
คับ
on
ด้วย
that
ไอ้
timer,
โดร
that's
น
going
อ่ะ
to
เขาเรียก
continue
โดร
to
น
burn until
โดรน
8
ชิป
minutes and 44 seconds into flight. So a little over 2 minutes from now, we'll hear the call out SECO. It'll then be a little
Stage 2
under or a
propulsion
little
is still
over
good.
คือโดรน
little
ชิป
over
อ่ะมัน
3
จะไม่มี
minutes
คน
until
มันจะ
Dragon
เป็น
physically
เป็นโดร
separates
น
from
อ่ะ
the second
เป็น
stage
เรือ
of
บาง
the
เรือ
Falcon
แบบ
9
เรืออัตโน
after
มั
the
ติอ่ะ
upper
Dragon
stage gets a
SpaceX
chance.
nominal trajectory.
จะไปรอรับไอ้ตัวถังเชื้อเพลิงที่จะ
Dragon copy.
กลับมาลง
Nominal
จอดในพื้น
trajectory.
โลก
Continuing to check in with Bob and Doug as they are on a nominal trajectory.
entry burn
Just
entry
about
burn
10
นี่คือ
seconds away from that first stage.
กำลังเข้า
Starting that
สู่
entry
ชั้นบร
burn
รยา
on
กาศ
your right screen, we should be able to see that view live.
อันนี้กำลังกลับเข้าสู่ชั้นบรรยากาศ
Stage 1 entry burn
ตัว
started.
หางมันอะตัวหัวมันจะนักบินอวกาศอยู่ส่วนหัวไอ้หางนี่มันแยกกันละ
And
หัวกับหาง
there is
มันแยก
that
กันละ
entry burn
Acquisition
beginning.
signal in your hands.
อันนี้โดนชั้นบรร
This
ยากาศ
burn lasts about 36 seconds long.
มัน
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
มันเผาไหม้บนชั้นบรรยากาศ อันนี้ไฟนี่
That
ไม่
entry
ใช่
burn
เชื้อเพลิง
continues.
นะ
We're
ไฟ
just
นี่
about
มั
a
นมา
minute
จาก
away
ไอ้
from
ที่มัน
SECO. We'll have a
สี
number
กับ
of
ชั้นบรร
events
ยากาศ
all happen in
เนี่ย
rapid
สี
succession.
เสียดสีกับชั้นบรรยากาศแล้วมันกลายเป็น
Second engine cut
ไฟ
off.
ขึ้นมา
Stage 1
We'll
entry
be
burn
looking
shut
for
down.
that
อันนี้
stage
กำลัง
1
จะลงจอ
landing
ด
burn shortly after.
ลง
Yeah,
จอด
actually, just within a few seconds of each other.
อันนี้ส่วน
Such
ห้อง
a
นัก
cool
บินอว
view
กาศ
on
นี่
your
เดี๋ยว
left
จะต้องไปเชื่อม
screen,
กับสถานี
seeing
อว
Bob
กาศ
and Doug on Dragon. Right now, you can see the displays that they are
มีความ
seeing
เร็ว
right now
ความ
themselves.
เร็ว 20,000 กิโลเมตรต่อชั่วโมง
MVAC
ที่ความ
throttle
สู
step.
ง 198 กิโลเมตร
We
แป
are
ด
coming up 25 seconds or so away from SECO, or
แค่
second
8
engine
นาที
cutoff.
8 นาทีขึ้นมา
This
ได้
is also the point
200 กิโล
where
แล้ว
Bob and Doug are experiencing their highest G-force. We're seeing the counter tick up to right about
Stage 1 entry
1.8.
transonic.
Copy Shannon.
You heard Shannon, so that just means they're in their final abort zones. If they were to abort at this point, would either be an abort to orbit or to land off the coast of Ireland. Standing by for second
Stage 1
engine
landing
cutoff
startup.
confirmation.
MVAC throttle step. MVAC
นี่
shut
เดี๋ยว
down.
รอ
Stage
ดู
1
ตอน
landing clear.
ตอนมันลงจอด
Confirmation
ล
of
ง
SECO's
ล
second
งเรือ
engine
เนี่ย
cutoff.
ไม่เรือ
Now we are waiting for our first stage to make its way to our
เดี๋ยวมัน
drone
จะมา
ship.
ลง
Of
จอด
course,
ตร
I
ง
still love you.
Dragon SpaceX nominal
มันจะ
orbital
มาลงจอด
insertion.
ตรงเนี้ยจรวดเนี่ย
Launch escape
Confirmation
system is
of
disarmed.
nominal
Dragon
orbital
copy.
insertion.
Nominal
Stage
orbital
1 landing leg
insertion.
deploy.
And what you're seeing on your screen is a live view
อัน
of
นี้
our
เรือ
drone
โดน
ship,
ชิปก็คือไม่มีคนอยู่บน
where
เรือ
our first stage will be coming down.
อันนี้จะถึงแล้วเนี่ยไอ้นี่
Looks
สั
like
ญ
we
ญาณ
lost that live view, but we'll wait for confirmation of that landing shortly here.
ดูห้องนักบินบอก
Falcon 9 first
อ้าว
stage successfully
ลง
landed.
จอด
And
แล้ว
there you can see on your screen,
อันนี้ลง
Falcon
จอดแล้วนะ
9 has
มัน
landed.
ไม่เห็นภาพเพราะว่า
This
สัญ
is
ญาณ
the
มันจะตัด
first
ตลอดเว
Falcon
ลา
9 to carry
เวลามัน
humans to
มันมาจอด
orbit, so very exciting for us.
Good job placing Bob and Doug into orbit. I mean, this is a day. This is a historical day. This is us kicking off that new era of space flight that we've all been talking about and longing for since the space shuttle program came to an end in 2011.
อันนี้มัน
Yes.
And the weather cooperated.
Yes. Second time's a charm.
Right.
ไอ้เว็บ
All right. So
SpaceX
day
ก็
for
จะ
the history books. As you can see,
ถ่ายทอดส
we
ดไปเรื่อย
have
ๆ
lost some live signal there, but the mission still continues, and we're going to send it over to KSC to continue broadcasting live with you
Expected loss
guys.
of signal Newfoundland.
อีกนานนะกว่าจะไปเชื่อมกับ
Yeah, Jesse and Dan, we are just in awe over here. When I woke up this morning and looked at the weather forecast, I was like, man, we're going to be back here on Sunday, but we did it. And the room cleared out.
แต่
Everybody
เรา
was
คงรอ
outside
ดูไม่
watching.
ได้
And
ไม่ไหวแล้วมั้ง
and inside, the lights were shaking, the cameras were
เราก็ดู
shaking. Lauren
แค่
came
ว่า
back
ขึ้น
in
ไป
with tears in her
บน
eyes.
อวกาศ
This
ส่งมนุษ
is
ย์
really
นักบินอวกาศ
amazing.
ขึ้นวงโคจรแค่นี้
I can't believe it. I saw it
Yeah.
with my own eyes. This is, I'm a little bit speechless. Just so grateful that we got them up there, and there's a lot more to go. But I'm so happy they're safe right now. I'm just so happy.
Yeah.
ไอ้
Leland, you were talking about it. It's
กระ
amazing
สวย
what
ใน
we can do
แคป
when
ซู
we
ล
work
นี่ยังกับ
together.
ในหนั
Yes,
ง
American astronauts on an American rocket from American soil, showing you what Americans can do when we come together as a team and blast Doug and Bob off to the cosmos. This is what it's all about, and their families and everyone is working together to take them up to space safely. So I don't know what to say. That rocket fuel is still in my veins, and I want to go get on the rocket.
I know. Well, it's too late now. Maybe
I
the next
know.
one.
I know.
But we
Thank
want to
you.
go over to Daryl at OSB2. He's there with the administrator who hopefully has more words than we do because we're still kind of
นอนหลับ
speechless.
ฝันดี
Daryl?
ราตรีสวัสดิ์
Incredible here, Marie, at the Operations Support Building where
เอา
a
แค่นี้
chorus
ก่อน
of
นะแค่
applause
ขึ้น
has been happening
วงโค
from
จร
the
ก็สำ
beginning
เร็จ
of
เรียบร้อย
launch
แล้ว
and throughout the various stages. Some very special guests were here to watch it. That includes President Donald Trump, Vice President Mike Pence, and NASA Administrator Jim
ประสบความ
Bridenstine,
สำ
who
เร็จ
joins
ฮะ
me now.
มิชชั่น
And
คอม
we're
พ
with
ลีท
the President and the Vice President.
แยกย้าย
America's back, launching human
ถ้ามีอะไร
astronauts
ตื่นเต้นแล้ว
again.
เราค่อยมา
Tell me
คุย
how
กัน
you feel
รอบ
about that, and tell me about the President watching the launch and what happened there.
ฝันดี
So this
เลย
has
นะ
been a long time coming. It's been 9 years since we've launched American astronauts on American rockets from American soil, and now it's done.